Hi guys, so I am back with another episode, I guess, of Cupid, a visual novel. I'm also at a different angle than usual. Usually I have my webcam sort of balanced on top of my screen, but it's always such an awkward angle because I'm always like crouching down so you can't really see me. Not that you really necessarily want to see me, I don't know. So I've got it slightly to my right, balancing on pens in a box of some sort, I don't really know. So hopefully this looks a little bit better. I'll probably keep switching it up every so often, but it's looking alright to me at the moment. Anyway, I've just come back from the gym and I'm feeling awesome, but at the same time I'm feeling incredibly tired because I worked pretty hard, and so I'm very proud of myself. So do excuse me if I come across a little bit, not off, but a little bit, you know, lackluster in this video, I guess. Anyway, let's continue. We are on chapter 5, Psych. Okay, take revenge for me. Rosa's hands were over her head, and once again, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm going to be squinting. Hopefully I can actually make out the words. She pressed herself into a corner, panting. She had never heard Mother this loud before. Take revenge! This one was so loud it rattled around her skull and made her vision blur. Mother? What do you want? The spell is already... She bent her head down, black spots creeping into the edge of her vision. She was so tired. You cannot hide anything from me. What is this doubt you are nursing? You are hesitating. You are crafting another spell, you stupid harlot. That filthy Marquis is exactly the kind of monster I have been warning you about. You dare plan behind my back? I just don't want to kill anyone, Mother. She couldn't help but answer back this time. How could she not? After years filled with love and acceptance, it made her realise all the more how precious life was. The thought of snuffing out somebody else's life sent a detestable shiver through her bones. She had planned on running away from this place, abandoning whatever duty that now fell into her hands. Why was it her duty anyway? She just wanted to take the good memories of this place and taint them no longer. Whatever truth she sought wasn't enough payment for peace. I need to burp. Oh my god, it's trapped. Oh, that was so underwhelming. Oh gosh, hopefully there's another build-up because that was just pathetic. Something's fallen. Noises are going on in my room and I don't like it. Oh yeah, so yeah, hopefully this will be chill. I'm expecting something to get a little bit crazy again, but I just wanted to relax and play a relaxing game, and so far this has been pretty mellow. But yeah, I don't know if I mentioned, was it in the last video, that some of the achievements look a bit strange, so I'm wondering when they're going to crop up. Anyway, back in character. I don't want to. Her voice shook. I don't want to kill him, Mother. I don't want to kill anyone, please. In this cowardice, or not in, is this cowardice or stupidity? Look deep into your heart and you will find it, child. As there is deep love, there is burning hate. A hate so strong it compels to end a life. Yes, darling, let it burn in you. This is the fire that consumes the same way. Channel it, use it. No, please. Rosa's head began to throb, and a vile sickness spread through her stomach. He took everything away from you, darling. He took Catherine. He will not stop. He needs to be punished. With this final proclamation, why am I struggling to say that? Rosa struck to the floor. Rosa was struck. Oh, but I really can't see. You can just tell how bad my vision is now. The feeling of fainting was stronger than ever. Alone in the dark, she lay there, panting like a sick dog, waiting for what would come next. Why, that's bright. Gilmay killed me. He made me love him, and then he betrayed me. He deserves death. Only you can kill him. I can't kill him. It's what I want. Is this really Charlotte? What's her name? Is it Charlotte? I can't remember. Is it really her talking, or is it the mother manipulating her, or is just Rosa really crazy? That's not true. It is. You're my best friend, Rosa. Friends avenge each other, don't they? My darling daughter, I could always count on you to do the right thing. So kill him. Kill Gilmay. Kill him. Promise me. Make him suffer. Stab him with a knife. Ha 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 ha. The mother bit in green, is that like actual memories that are feeding in at the moment, and then obviously like the black strip of her writing, that's just kind of what Rosa's hearing in her head? I don't know. I'm wondering what the difference is there. Stick a dagger down his throat. Gouge his eyes out. Take revenge. Rosa clutched her head so hard she thought her skull would burst. For a long moment she lay as though she were dead. 5 minutes, 10 minutes passed. Then, in the middle of the empty room, Rosa's voice rang out as clear as a bell. "I understand." Rosa knocked on Gilmay's door, carrying a tray of food. She had been poisoning his meals in small doses for weeks now, taking note of any ill effects it yielded. There had been none. Gilmay was as still fit and healthy as ever. No symptoms at all, even after she had increased the dosage. Either he hadn't eaten anything for a month, or he was immune to poison. Both possibilities were suspect. Rosa knocked again. There was no response from the other side of the door. May have worked. It was a total loss, however. She remembered Catherine mentioning how particular Gilmay was with his sleep. Just as she'd been about to give up, she had ventured on his lunch. What did I just say? I just completely lost it and made shit up. I don't even know what happened. Right. It was true. Gilmay was curiously rather sensitive to sedatives. Rosa had offered Rose tea to Gilmay that afternoon under the guise that she had made a new recipe. It had been laced with opium and valerian, sweetened with honey to mask the taste. Whether or not it was the carcinophilia, he had drunk it without second thought. He had retired early that evening. Rosa noted the grogginess visible in his gait. She snuck the master key this evening. Tonight is her night. Rosa pushed the door to his room open. It took a couple of seconds for her eyes to adjust to the darkness. It felt like a different world inside this room. By closing the door, it was as if she had cut herself off from the living. Rosa took an unsure step once she'd found her bearings. I do apologise if the lighting changes a bit. I forgot to turn on my light and I kind of don't want it on because I sort of have a headache brewing, but I'm not quite sure yet, so I don't want to tamper it. But yeah, if it's too dark, I'm sorry. Rosa took an unsure step once she found her bearings. She placed the tray of food onto the nearest flat surface, careful not to make any noise. The candle she lit provided little comfort. It seemed to cover the intimidating blanket of shadows. Rosa heaved. The air felt humid here, the atmosphere almost stale. Now that she was inside and venturing deeper, a sudden impulse to find the door gripped her. She looked back. It seemed farther away. Why was she so anxious? She had been in this room before. It was perfectly normal. Tonight it was a different story. The room seemed to breathe. Rosa gulped. What a curious word. There was no other way to describe it, though. The flickering shadows made it seem like the walls were respiring around her. The room felt alive. It was asleep, like its owner, but alive. In the dim light of her candle, the red carpet looked like flesh. The furnishings were viscera. It didn't feel like she entered a room at all, but a belly. Something darted in the corner of her eye. Rosa snapped her head. Just a curtain. Rosa let out the breath she was holding in her chest, aware with every move that her body made. Apologies. She tiptoed toward the canopy. It was perhaps the highlight of the room, an organic monstrosity of red plush and velvet. From afar it didn't look like a bed at all, but a cage. If the room was a cavern of meat, then this was its heart. Rosa approached. Every muscle in her body was tense. She could see a figure sprawled on the bed, limbs sticking out clumsily. He was lying on his chest, back bare, clothes littering the floor. Gilmay seemed to have fallen into the bed instead of climbing in. One of his arms struck out from the mattress. His breath was fitful but slow, a light snore coming from him. What was that? Rose looked around for the source of the noise, but the room was still. A slow trickle of sweat traced her spine. Did that come from the window? Should she check? Rose didn't move. Something was in the room with her. She could feel it. She stole a glance at Gilmay. He hadn't moved from the bed. Rosa's ears tried to pick up the faintest noise. It felt like hours of her staying frozen on that spot, wishing to blend with the darkness, but there was no one there. She'd probably imagined it. She took a deep breath and calmed herself down. The sooner she was out of this room, the better. Philia's effect would diminish once the candle died. After that, she might not have another chance. She had to find out more about him tonight. I need to burp again. That's much better. I do apologise, I'm sorry. The thought of her girl helped still her nerves. Where should she begin? She took a step. Rosa darted her head, looking for the source of the skittering noise. Her ears were too sensitive now. She heard every creak and moan in the room. She took a deep breath. Focus. Rosa surveyed everything. There was a book by Gilmay's bedside table. It was only a couple of steps away, but she'd have come dangerously close to the bed. As much as she could, she'd rather maintain the distance between her and the creature on the bed. Creature, eh? Creature? Why did she think that? Perhaps it was the arrangement of the sheets, or the shadows playing her tricks. But, Rosa shook her head, perhaps there was another place to look. We've come here to gather information. You should check the book. Rosa sighed. Mother was right. She had to check every source to be sure. She inched herself closer to the bed. The faint candlelight indicated that the book on the bedside was red. It wasn't the journal she had seen Guillemay write in. Rosa tiptoed her way closer. Guillemay's hand dangled mere inches away. She reached her arms towards the book and swiped it noiselessly. Well, I heard some noise, so I'm not sure about that. The candle almost went out with her sigh. She backed up from the bed with the book under her arm. Adrenaline surged in her blood. It almost made her smile. Rosa examined her prize. A book in a foreign language. She remembered seeing such thin, obscure characters somewhere. She wasn't sure which country, but it was probably Asian. She flipped the book and saw a piece of parchment folded on one of the pages. A sailing permit for a barge named La Victoria, dated for the end of the month, 2 days from now. It outlined the cargo and the purposes of the trip with no date of return. Travelling? No. Leaving. Guillemay was planning to leave. This was a suspicion she had since she had started observing him. His sudden aloofness with the town affairs, the secret purchase of a ship, the decrease of servants in his employ. Now it was confirmed. It's just as well we found this. We must end it tonight before he has a chance to escape. Although it was a good thing to confirm this suspicion, the fact helped her little. If anything, it just made it even more urgent to find something tonight. She had to continue. Rosa steadied herself and stepped back to the bed. Her hand finally brushed against the wood of the table after some quiet fumbling. She caught sight of something shiny inside the drawer. Open it, child. Rosa pulled the drawer open ever so slightly. She peeked inside. Inside was an ornate dagger with a golden hilt set in with rubies. An old, delicate pattern was carved on its blade. There was a heat emanating from it, almost like it was alive, like the rest of the room. She almost missed it in the dim light, but there was also a key in the same cabinet. Take the dagger, because what if he wakes up and then he's like aggressive and then she can stab him? But the key might be important. Let's go with violence. It might come in handy. Rosa closed her fingers around the dagger's hilt. A sudden feeling of repulsion came over her. She didn't want to hold the dagger any more than she wanted to hold a bloody human tooth. Yet, as Mother said, there might be use for it later. I think I might have accidentally missed a bit because I kind of clicked too fast and I ended up clicking twice. So I think I missed a sentence. She extracted the dagger carefully from the drawer, keeping her eyes bouncing between her prize and the sleeping man. Finally, the dagger was in her hand. Oh my god, what is in my eye? There was power in it, she could tell. The sleek blade glinted with a sinister wink. Rosa placed it in her pocket. Guillemay shifted. Achievement unlocked. Bull by the horns. Okay. Rosa blew the candle out. She scuttled behind the small table. It barely hid her. Guillemay had changed positions in his sleep. Now his face was in full view and facing her direction. Rosa's heart banged in her chest. It was so loud she was concerned the room might echo the sound and announce her intrusion. Rosa waited for a few minutes before moving. She decided to crouch down, holding the unlit candle close to her chest. Easy now. She shuffled away from the bed in relief. The candle was dead, but her eyes were now well adjusted to the darkness. She could make out a desk in the furthest part of the room. He must do most of his writing there. There is a huge chance the journal was near. It wasn't very dignifying, but Rosa decided to crawl towards it. Now that Guillemay's face was in full view, a flutter of the eyelid was all it would take to catch her. It would be better to minimise her risk. She dropped to her knees and placed her palms on the floor. She drew her hand back. Was she imagining it? When her palms touched the floor, it felt warm. Wet. Her fingers were sucked into the floor as if she'd touched soft, pulpy flesh. The hallucination was so strong that her nose detected a spray of iron in the air. Her stomach heaved. She rubbed her hand. There was no wetness or blood anywhere. The floor was solid. It must have been her imagination. Rosa touched the floor warily, patting it and pulling on the carpet fibres. Just a normal carpet. Rosa let out a slow, small breath as she started to move once more. She padded her way to the desk. Every time her skin came into contact with the floor, bile rose up her throat. Very fitting. It took her some effort to resist the urge to gag. Finally, the desk was directly in front of her. She looked back at the bed. From this angle, it was hard to tell if Guillemot had moved. She hoped that the big desk had also hit her in the shadows. Rosa rummaged. There was no trace of the book on the tabletop. She only found a pot of ink, loose sheets of paper, and a quill. That damn thing had to be close. She opened the first shelf and found a stack of papers. Nothing. She shuffled through them, but the drawer didn't have the journal. She looked through the second drawer, and the third. There was nothing of interest. Finally, she pulled on the last drawer. It was locked. Damn it, I should have gone for the key. Rosa sucked the air through her teeth. He's going to wake up now. Of course it's locked. How could I have been so stupid? But then if I've gone for the key, I bet he'd have woken up. So, that's annoying. Rosa slumped in a depressed heap. Why don't you use the dagger to pry the drawer open? Oh, perhaps. Rosa looked at the sharp dagger in her hand. The idea appealed to her more than returning to the bedside drawer to try the key she didn't take. She shivered. The thought of approaching the bed again made her stomach wind into a tight knot. She might have to try this first. Rosa positioned the knife to pry open the lip of the drawer. The wood wasn't terribly thick. With a little more prying, she felt the wood give under her force. Soon she heard a snap. The drawer slid open. Rosa looked inside. There it was. In her eyes, the green journal was a treasure. She lifted the book from the resting place. It was heavier than she'd expected. Rosa smiled. She ran her hands along the velvet cover of the book, savouring the texture. At last, she had it. Child. Mother's voice was riddled with anxiety. Something is wrong. Her excitement had clouded her senses. Almost at once she felt the change in the air. Everything was still. Her stomach shrunk into its cavity. Fresh sweat broke out on her scalp. Oh, what's happening? This silence. It had weight. It pressed on her skin and made the air thin in her lungs. Rosa stood up. Another movement stirred in the darkness. Oh, I like this music. That's enough, okay. Those footsteps. Rosa froze. Okay, I don't like it anymore. She heard a sigh, a chuckle, a soft, amused whisper. I spy. Oh god, I don't like that. Achievement unlocked. The creature. With my little eye. Her brain fired several commands all at once. Run, duck, hide. But her body was paralysed by fear. Warm breath tickled her nape. She felt a hand reached out for her neck. Rosa turned. There was no one there. She scrambled from the floor, journal in hand. Her eyes focused on the rim of the light bordering the door. She grabbed the knob and half expected it to be locked, but it turned and she dashed out of the door, panting. What the hell? What? Rose was sure that any second now a hand would pull her back into that cursed room. A figure would be standing there, grinning from ear to ear. Little thief. She was so sure that the words almost materialised. Nothing came. Nothing stirred. The room was simply dead. Rosa finally caught her breath. She urged herself to move. There was no time to linger. Despite her shaky legs, she wanted to put as much distance between herself and the room as possible. It's going to be so obvious that she's taken that, because I swear she's left the drawer open, everything's gone to shit. What is going on? Rosa gathered her wits and stared at the journal in her hand. She hoped it would contain the information they needed. Chapter 6, Good Intentions. That was a really quick chapter. Guess let's carry on. In the warm, dim light of the library, Rosa opened the journal's cover. She wasn't too surprised to find that a number of entries were written in different tongues. The dates jumped from decade to decade, the writing spanned centuries. Another suspicion validated. Guillemot was not human. Or at least he did not have a normal human lifespan. Why does this feel so normal? Why is it, there's no shock factor, nothing like that? It's just like, oh, okay, he's not human or something, you know, it's cool. Alright then. This discovery made Rosa search her mind for her date of birth. It distressed her that she could not remember. She shook her head and turned back to the journal. Despite the multitude of languages, the first entry was translated into several languages. For sentimental reasons, perhaps? Or maybe a feeble attempt at reminiscing a more innocent time? Getting a bit of a blocked nose. Oh god, I hope I don't give myself another cold. I am learning to write. Ayla gave me paper. I like Ayla. She wants me to call her mother. She smells like oranges. She says I am a gift from the goddess. But I don't know any goddesses. Ayla calls me Rai. I guess that is my name now. It's a nice name to have. Or it's nice to have a name, rather. The other preceding pages were still in a different language. Rosa flipped through the pages until she came upon one she could not read. Oh, she could read, sorry. They call me Eros. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Cupid, Eros are the same guy, but you know, different names for different Roman and Greek and stuff like that. Anyway, they call me Eros. I don't know why I didn't think that this would be mystical in that way, because it's obviously Cupid, you know, and he seems to be sucking the life out of people that he loves, you know, so that makes sense, I guess. Anyway, it's all coming into sense now, it's all making sense. They call me Eros, a god, a divine. They don't understand what I am. They either build me statues or spit at my feet. I am a muse, I am a blight, a symbol, but I am not the answer. It seems ironic, isn't it, that love craves, love above all, that which I need, that which I am, poisons me to the point that I am sick of its taste. 6th of May. I see it in the way people look at me, the way they act around me. Some would of course think of me as blessed. I have youth, health, and the gift of being loved, but I found out that these gifts are curses as well. My youth forces me to always wander. My looks guarantee that I will always stand out. And love? The very same urge that blesses me quickly turns me rabid. Yet I understand why. Oh, love, we all crave it, don't we? In the end, we are all drunk on the idea that only love could heal our brokenness. They all think I am this cure, but I keep hoping there might be something else besides this twisted sentiment. There must be, mustn't there? Rosa read the words and found them tugging at her heart. This was the same feeling she had for years. It almost seemed like the words were her own. I know I'm not supposed to be writing this, God forgive me. I do not want to write it down. If I do, it will be the truth. Oh Lord, please forgive me. I didn't mean to do it. I just want to stop hurting. I am hiding now. I slashed my face and cut my hair so that they would not recognise me. Pain is good. A penance. Oh God, please. Or oh Lord, please. If there is a God listening, please strike me down. Bad memories began to surface in Rosa's mind. Desperation. A cornered animal that fought back. It reminded her of her own sins. Her hands were drenched in red, and yet here she was, planning to kill another man. This had been her goal all along, hadn't it? That same familiar guilt began to stir in her mind. She bit her lip. Rosa skipped some entries. Most of them were garbled, almost incomprehensible. They were written in old ink, faded and unloved. Still, though, they were melancholic. They painted a picture of a man with sufficient black humour to keep sane. 28th of November. Does that say 28th or? Yeah, it does. The plague has confirmed my suspicions that I do not die from sickness. I don't know how to feel about that. Everyone is dead. But on the bright side, everyone is dead. Damn. 7th of June, 1489. For decades I have searched for something in this life, and I am always disappointed by transience. What am I looking for? Meaning, hope, love, death maybe? I can bleed. Wounds to the heart heal slower than the rest of my body. I think I may die of if wounded enough. I have tried that. There was a time when seeing myself bleed was the only reminder that I am not numb. Yet my body does not form scars, no matter how many times I draw my knife. Like any sign of age or ugliness, they all fade. A wrinkle today, gone the next, as if my body isn't even my own brand. That is a shame. I want to mar my body so badly that anyone who sees will flee. But I have tried that too. People are crueler when you are ugly. Why is that? Why do they feel the need to punish you simply because you are detestable? Perhaps because they can, or perhaps because it is easy to be cruel to those which do not belong. I don't belong. It would be nice to disappear one day. There it is. There is confirmation that he can be killed. So he bleeds like everyone else, but heals enough not to die. A strike to the heart. If you find a way to leave the wound open, perhaps he can be exterminated. Rosa continued reading. Another feeling was starting to grow in her chest. She began to question her cause the more she read through the journal. I have been staying in the old March farm. They are good people. They invited me to eat with them, and it was in the warmth of their fire that I knew that I must leave. I will only destroy their happiness. For the briefest of moments I was able to experience what it was like to be a family. Not an outsider, but accepted. Rosa shuffled through more pages and saw a different penmanship in one such entry. It had caught her eye. January 1500. New century. I like it. I smell change in the air. It is so much easier to lie when you have the means. Trading is a good sport. My name nowadays is Baron Eric Dorpshire. How could I have forgotten mankind's paralysing obsession with titles? Names have power, titles have power. I simply bought a horse and good robes and introduced myself as such. Everyone fawned over it. I could get used to this. The taste is refreshing. I must plan this better next time. A background, a story. People love stories. Maybe I should be an actor next. 27th of March, 1507. Cretins everywhere. Human nature stays the same. The powerful will take advantage of the damned. So, it is all a struggle for control. Is that all there is? I had thought it would be different somehow, in a learned class in a different era. What was I expecting? Fortunately, I am already well acquainted. The next entry's penmanship was scratchy and difficult to understand. The 1st of December, 1550. I am tired of this life. It is all an endless cycle, and I can't stand the taste of this any longer. Love turns to ash in my mouth. I am trying to stop. I want to stop. It is my 7th day without consuming anything other than normal food. It barely grazes the bottom of my stomach. I want to see if I will die without eating love. I am sick of this. Now you know what he is, Rosa. He consumes love. I do not know exactly what he is, but he is a monster, a demon. Didn't I tell you? I felt it in my bones. Perhaps there might be more. 4th December 1550. This is my 10th day without it, and I am still alive. Barely. I can't even see where I am writing anymore. I am so weak. My body is in pain. Am I dying? I am afraid. After all my whining, I still want life. Isn't that funny? I am sleeping again. Sleep is the only thing that sustains me. It is dangerous for me to linger in sleep's domain, especially when I have not eaten. I have to keep writing. It's the only way to tell my mind is still my own. Maybe I should find something. Can't take it anymore. So that is why he felt so easily for the sedatives. That is not all. Perhaps you can destroy him this way as well. He is most vulnerable right now. If we attack now, he won't be able to put up any defences. 12th of February 1601. I have rewritten all of my entries into a new journal. I have kept some that were close to my heart. I don't know why I still keep writing. Perhaps this journal is my will to live. I look back on it, and it reminds me of the years I have endured. Sometimes I have a suspicion that this is my only reason. This perverse obsessive compulsive. Why can't I talk? This perverse obsessive compulsion to hoard time, years, names. It can't end because it's such a shame. It is almost time to leave again. This writing is so tiny. I'm like, what does that say? 19th of August, 1605. I'm like getting closer and closer to my screen. My ship arrived in France today. I plan to settle in a small town. I am sick of the taste of instant gratification. Maybe I will try a different approach next time. I need to blend in with the citizens first. My French needs work. 29th of June at 1724. Why do I keep doing this to myself? I shouldn't care so much. It always ends up broken or destroyed. I never learn. I should leave before. The entry was not finished, and some fresh pages were torn out of the book. Even if there were no names mentioned, Rosa felt that the last entry was Catherine. There were more entries that she didn't explore, but she decided to close the book. She had read enough for now. All achievement unlocked, incomplete journal. Rosa's hands were shaking by then. A growing feeling of understanding came over her. His thoughts were too much like her own. They were too similar. Guillemot consumes love. Rosa remembered the taste in her mouth when she had kissed Catherine. There was something else in that kiss, a boundless flavour that coated her mouth and made her realise how hungry she was. The same night that Catherine began to change, Rosa's throat throbbed. The thumping felt like it resonated through her whole body. Rosa fell to her knees. That same feeling of dread began to rise up in her throat. The mere mention of the thought seemed to summon the feeling in her chest. She gagged. Did I taste Catherine's love that night? Then that means I am also... Mother? Am I the same? Oh, finally figured it out, have you? What? Do you see it now, my child? He is a monster. The very thing I stopped you from becoming. Don't you see? I saved you. I stopped you from feeding on other people's love. I didn't want you to be filthy. Mother's love is all you need. Ew. You have learnt enough. Now you know what to do. Kill him. He is what I have feared the most, Rosa. He must perish. Rosa's face contorted into worry. The discovery of Guillemot's identity shook her to the core, but it also made her feel the burden of their years together. Perhaps the understanding of his pain as well. Must we really do this, Mother? You still have doubts after everything you have learned? No, but this knowledge just makes me want to. You stupid child. Can't you see it is what you should have done? Is that what it said? I don't know. I think I made stuff up again. Do it for me. You must do it for me. For my peace. Is it really? Is it easy to say that? But it is easy to say that. But what do you really want? Manipulate her more. He must be stopped. If he will not stop, there will be more victims in the future. He has grown in pride and greed. There is no telling what he will do in the future. He is nothing but a monster, a rabid dog that must be put down. But is it really the right thing? Is death the only way to change him? Of course it is. There is no choice, no other choice. It's the only way to stop him. He is a monster. Besides, it is what he deserves. Am I not like him, Mother? I am also a monster. We are the same. Yes, you are, and it is part of my regret to have ever loved you. But that is why I am here, to keep you from becoming the monster he is. Now that you know his true face, there is only one thing to do. I like this music. Kill him! That soured the mood a little bit, didn't it? Rosa bit her lip until she could taste blood. But, Mother, please, don't make me kill anyone again. I am scared. Again. What is the matter? Haven't you done it before? That was an accident. No, it is necessary. Accident or not, your hands are already dirty. What's a little more blood to you? That's not true. This isn't right. I can't kill another person, Mother. Yes, you can. You must. Oh, my nose is getting itchy. Ah, that's what the outdoors does to you. To fulfill your goal, it is necessary to crush things along the way. Just remember that they don't matter. It is to you and I forever, darling. Trust no one. Love no one but me. The rest of the world can crumble to dust. You have thought about punishing him too, haven't you? What? No? Catherine and him, they are both the forbidden fruit that you crave so badly. Mother keeps you right, darling. Mother keeps you clean. If you kill the dirty man, then you will stay pure. No, you don't have to be confused. But convince. My dear child, don't you see this is the right thing to do? Is it? Yes, my darling. You have read this journal, have you not? He is tired. We are doing him a favour. But it shouldn't be up to me to decide. It's not how it's supposed to. You are such a little monster. Selfish, inconsiderate, ingrate. Tears formed in Rosa's eye. Oh, she grabbed her head and scratched it viciously. No, I don't understand anymore. I'm so confused. Please, Mother. I'm really confused now. I'm being nice 1 minute, crazy the next. Oh God, I'm such a bad person. Shh, my darling. I know it's hard, but you love Mother, don't you? Yes. Will you keep Mother happy, darling? Yes. Then do as I say, my child. Kill him. Rosa began to giggle. Her tongue danced in her mouth. She licked her lips in delight. Yes, kill him. This is what he deserves for being filthy. I am a little monster too, aren't I? But Mother kept me clean. She feeds me and loves me and kisses me. I'd like to cut his pretty neck open, Mother. Watch the pretty blood drain from his dirty mouth. Like such a creep reading this. Is that all right? I am a monster, but Mother keeps me right. Monster achievement unlocked. Mother, can I please play with him a little bit? Pretty, please? I want to do naughty things to him. She laughed. I want to enjoy his punishment. I hate him. I love him. Now I understand why. Rosa tittered again. I want to kill him, Mother. Everything's just escalated like crazily. Like I feel like things have just jumped to things so quickly, especially like back before when I was getting a bit confused at the storyline because it was like jumping back and forth. This has just, amplified the fact that I feel like it's not as smooth as I'd hoped it to be because this is just crazily fast-paced. For all his sins, he deserves to die. For a moment, Rosa was shocked by the gravity of her own words. Mother's voice came to soothe her. That's my darling girl. Make sure you make him suffer for as long as possible. All the pain in the world wouldn't be enough to punish him for the damage he's caused. Oh, juice flashed back at me. There is no doubt about that. Regardless of who Guillaume was, whether he was a saint or a devil, killing him was the right thing to do. Yes, mummy dear. I will follow everything you say, but I get to have fun too, right? Rosa lit Eros, bathing her face in the scarlet light cast by the candle. The night went on. The spell burned Guillaume into a deeper slumber. She brought out the dagger she had stolen from Guillaume's room. So pretty. She played with the shiny thing whilst whistling a lullaby. Sleep now, my precious Gilly. Dream of me. Dream and descend into the depths of your personal hell. I hope you like your gift. Rosa giggled while pricking the tip of her tongue with the sharp knife. Look at her little tongue. She looks like a little cat. Let me deliver your atonement. Oh, chapter 7, Taste of Honey. I feel like these chapters are getting super quick now. I'm going to leave it there. What do you think of the story so far? I'm kind of liking that it's amplified a bit, but at the same time I feel like it's happening far too quickly. I don't know how I feel about that, but so far the story's getting really interesting now. It's confusing really because it's almost taken a while to get here, but now it's here. It's just happened so quickly. It's like, whoa, calm down, slow this out a little bit, make the pace even, you know. But yeah, I'd say I'm enjoying it. I hope you are too. And yeah, I'll see you next time for chapter 7. I think we're on next. Goodbye and thank you for watching.